The former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu has been sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison for organ trafficking. The sentencing was done on Friday at the Central Criminal Court, Old Bailey, UK. At the sentence hearing, Ekweremadu's wife Beatrice was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months imprisonment, while Dr. Obinna Obeta received a 10-year prison term. The sentencing follows their conviction in March for organ trafficking, as they were alleged to have attempted to convince doctors at the Royal Free Hospital in London to perform an £80,000 transplant on the donor, who was presented as the cousin of their daughter Sonia. Sonia, who was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease, was however cleared of any wrongdoing. Well, to give us a better understanding of this case, legal expert Evans UFELI joins me now on the news from London. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been almost a year later and the sentencing is finally in. We have for Ekweremadu, it's now 9 years and 8 months. He has been sentenced for that long. So did you expect this verdict?
Well, I think the verdict was expected because the evidence against Ekweremadu, the wife, and the doctor in question were quite overwhelming, especially when there was also the complainant who gave oral evidence to the effect that he was actually brought into the country for a different purpose. But it turned out that Ekweremadu and the wife with the doctor had other plans, to harvest his kidney for the purposes of transplant. And the evidence was overwhelming, especially when the probative entrenchment of it became so clear and glaring that intentions of the senator was to ensure that the boy was used, his organs harvested for the purposes of using same to help the daughter who is under serious medical condition. Now, the probative value of this was quite very exhaustive, because if you look at the trial went so deeply into the fact of the case to the point where this evidence were unearthed. And this all point to the fact that the intentions of parties in question, that is why the court had no other option than to convict them according to the provisions of the Modern Slavery Act of 2015. This conviction is actually
You've mentioned this Modern Slavery Act. You know, this is the first time, since you mentioned the act, this is the first time organ harvesting conspiracy charges, have been brought under this same act. That's the UK's 2015 Modern Slavery Act. Now, this feat has now been set by Nigerians, not just any Nigerian, but a lawmaker, that is Ekweremadu. So how big a dent is this on the country's image?
Well, it's a big dent on the country's image. Part of our clamor had been that the leaders of Nigeria should try as much as possible to give the citizens public health care, because it is the lack of public health care that have created this. And then being the fact that Nigeria is also the one breaking the record for this law, and we are being put there in the public glare for the wrong reasons and for very criminalistic reasons from a one-time deputy senate president. That for me shows that we have not really done well, and that has put a lot of dent, a serious dent on the. We already have that very negative reputation sometimes across the world, and we're adding more to it. I think it's time for the Nigerian leaders to use this case as a point of reference to refrain from corruption, and then provide for the citizens so that they too can be first beneficiaries of the facilities of the state. And that is the only way to have an advancement. If they continue this way, you are going to have more cases of this nature, and that will not be good for us in the long run.
Now, legal expert Evans UFELI, thank you very much for your time.